वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं हरिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौरांगी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरकृष्णे नमः पंचतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूप स्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्तार्थं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जन्माद्यस्य तोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थेषु भिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्म हृदय आदि कवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् स्वस्ति अस्तु विश्वस्य खलः प्रसीदतां ध्यायन्तु भूतानि शिवं मिथो धिया मनश्च भद्रं भजपादधोक्षजे आवेश्यतां नो मतिरप्यहेतुकी ॐ सहनावतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, 9. So we are reading how this boy who had died, he was called back into the dead body by Sri Narada, and he asked him that you come and live and make your parents happy. So he came, and the first thing he asked is that which parents are you talking about? And he said, I have taken so many births, I have become deva, I have become animals, birds, aquatics, and human beings, and everywhere I have had parents. So which set of parents I have to make happy? So this is the question he has raised, very pertinent question. And then he also spoke about how somebody who is father may have been enemy, or somebody who one's son or daughter may have been actually an enemy in the past life. So he said it's very difficult to figure out. He says the living being is just like an ornament who goes from one person to another person. And wherever he or she is, those people become attached to it, and somebody else may be envying that. And then the same object comes to them and they start liking it. friends become enemies, enemies become friends. So he says these things keep on changing. And as long as there is mamatva, or the sense of possessiveness, then there is a relationship. If that sense is not there, then the relationship is over. So he says, I had karma to live in this body for that much time. Now it is over and I'm gone. Nothing to do with these parents or any of these other relatives. So this is what he said. And then he says, Esha nitya vyavaha sukshmaya sarvashraya swadrik atmaya guna vishwam atmanam svijati prabhu. So till now he was talking about the jiva, the individual living being. Now he speaks about the Lord. He says that this Lord, he is aware, imperishable, and sukshma, subtle, and the self-repelling, and self-effulgent, not depending on anyone. And Atma Maya Gunai Vishwam Atmanam Svasti Prabhu. It is by his gunas, or gunas of nature, that he creates this world and controls it. But he is the Prabhu, he is the master. And also he creates so many human or other forms in which living beings move from one to another. Evam jivasya partantrayad aneshwaryad cha tato anyah kasyit swatantra ishvaro asti iti pratiyate. So in the previous verses he spoke about the jiva, the living being, who is not independent. He is always under the control of time, control of karma. And therefore, he does not have any aishwarya or opulence, power. But there is someone else separate from the jiva, who is called Ishvara, the Lord, the Master. He is the one who is swatantra, not self-controlled, not controlled by anyone. So who is that? That he is described in this verse. Jivasya maya avarnad aparokshasya api parokshaya manatvat tachabdvachaptam. So in Sanskrit there are different pronouns which are used when we refer to an object. In English we have it or that. In Sanskrit we have different ones. When something is visible, then we use a different pronoun. And something is not visible, then we use different pronoun. So we use tat or sa, means somebody who is not in front of our eyes. Tat paroksha vijaniyat. So here he is idamastu sannikrishtam. Idam is used something which is close. And etat is used something which is even closer than that. So he is using the word esha, which means something which is very close to you. And he used sa in the previous words for the jiva. He said, evam yoni gato jiva sa nitya nirahankrita. So sa means he, literally means he, and also means that jiva. It's like a pronoun but used as an adjective. So when you say that person, that fellow. So the word sa mostly translated as he, is used here in the sense of that. And when it is used there, it is used something which is not close to you. So Vishnachakurti, therefore he, and in the next verse he uses the word Esha, which also means that, or this. So he said that the Esha is used for God and Sa is used for Jiva, although it should be used the other way around. Because Jiva is that which is close to us. We have the Jiva, and God is not available. We don't see him. So why is using it in a contrary manner? Because something which is visible, directly perceived to you, we use the word Esha for that. And Tat, from which we have the word Sa, is used something which is paroksha, which is not in front of your eyes or not available to your senses. So he gives a reason. He said, Jivasya maya avarnad apropshasya pi paroksham. That the jiva, the living being, is covered by maya. And although it is a paroksha, because we are what we directly to ourselves, we cannot be hidden from ourselves. Yet, because we are in ignorance of our own self, we are as if we are not available to ourselves. So therefore the word Sa is used for Jiva, as if he is not in front of your eyes. So just like if you read the Veda, this Yoga Sutra, then he said that Yoga Chittavritti Nirodha, and after that it says Prabha Drashtu Swarupa Avasthana. That when you are able to control the fluctuations of your mind, make your mind free from all modifications, then the seer becomes situated in his own Swarupa. Means the Purusha, the Atma, the living being is situated in his own self. So now the question is that when the mind is not free from modifications, is the living being not situated in his own self? Where else can you be situated? We have to be situated in our own self. Wherever you go, you are situated in your own self. But still, because we are not aware of our own self, we are not situated in our own self. So it's basically our awareness which informs or which decides where we are. It's like we may be sitting here, but if we are not aware of what is going on here, then you are not here. Although physically you are being situated in the room, but if mentally, by your awareness, your thoughts, you go somewhere else, and that's where you are. That's why in the dream you go to so many places, although you are lying on your bed. So it's only because of the thought process. So in the same way, because our mind at present is entangled in Maya and not in God, so although God is available to us, but he's talking about Jiva, we are not aware of ourselves, therefore he says that it is paroksha, therefore tat shabda vachyatam. He has been referred here by the word tat, which means that. And Ishwarasya maya anavarnat prayoktu angiraso jiva muktatvena avidya varana rahitya aparokshatvena etat shabdavachyatam. And Ishvara is not covered by Maya. It is only the Jiva, the living being, who is under the influence of Maya, not God. So therefore he is free from any covering. And Angirasa, it says Angira, He is the one who is speaking. Because it was said earlier that he is the one who became Jiva. He enters and speaks. He says, Prayog Turam Gira Sorapi Jivan Mukta. And he is a Jivan Mukta. He is a liberated person. Therefore, he is seeing the Lord who is not covered. And therefore, he is referring to him as the Esha. Aparokshapena etat shabdavachapam Esha. Tatra nityatvam, avyatvam, sukshvatvam, sadhan dharmatrayam, Ishvaras. So these are three general characteristics of Ishvara. Number one, eternal. Number two, imperishable. Number three, subtle, sukshma. So he says that these are sadharana dharma. Sadharana means general, which means they are shared with others also. Special characteristics are those which belong only to that particular person. General means those which are common with others. So these three qualities, they are the general characteristic of God. He is eternal, he is imperishable, and he is subtle. Subtle means not visible to the eyes or perceivable to the senses. It's called sukshma. But the jiva is also having these 3 points. Jiva is also eternal. Jiva is also imperishable. And jiva is also subtle. Krishna says, Sukshma Ramati Ham Jiva. Among the sukshma, among the subtle things, I am jiva. Jiva is also subtle. So therefore it says, Sadharan Dharma Trayam Ishwarasya. And Partantriyam, Anashwaryam, iti to asadharan dharma dvayam, jivasya puram dvayam. And Partantriyam means being controlled. And Anashwarya, and not having any independence. These are the special characteristics of Jiva. So God is Swatantra, independent, and controller. So those two are his special qualities. They are not in anyone else. Nobody else is independent. And nobody else is the supreme controller. So those are the qualities which distinguish Jiva from Ishvara. So sometimes there are statements in the Puranas or the Upanishads where it appears as if Jiva is also equal to God. Tattvamasi, I am Atma Brahma. So these statements sometimes are misinterpreted to mean that we are also God. There are various schools of theology which promote this idea that we are all God. And then they refer to the Upanishadic statements which seem to corroborate that idea, substantiate this idea. But there are many other statements which say that we are not God, because we don't have those qualities which God has. So these statements which seem to equate, they equate partially. It's like we are all human beings. So we are all human beings, therefore we are all equal, but it doesn't mean that we are completely equal. We are equal in the sense that we are human beings. It doesn't mean that all human beings are exactly the same. So in the same way, but we can say that these two people are equal because both are human beings. Or if they belong to the same country, then we say, well, they are belonging to the same country, so they are equal. But then there are also other things which are specific to an individual, which make him or her as different from everyone else. So there are always certain common qualities and some distinguishing qualities. So because of common qualities, two objects or two persons may be equated. That doesn't make them completely one. So in the same way, we have some qualities of God, and that does not make us God. And this is some confusion which people have or they create in others. So we should understand things in the proper perspective. Otherwise, there will be mistaken understanding. ईश्वरस्यापि असाधारणान् सर्व आश्रयत्वादीन् धर्मान् वक्तुं पुनरेतत् शब्दम् उपनिषति ऐसे. So he says to explain the specific characteristics of God, he uses the word Esha again. There is two times the word Esha is used in this verse, which is something very unusual. It says Esha Nityo Avya Sukshma Esha Sarva Ashvaya Swadrik. So he is specifically commenting on this double use. So this is to show that the first time when he is using the word Esha, he is explaining the three qualities which are common to both of them. And then he is using the word Esha to distinguish God from the living being by explaining these two qualities, Sarvashvaya and Swadrik. Sarvashvaya means support or shelter of everyone else. So we are not our own support. We are supported. We are standing here on earth. So we are not by ourselves. But God does not need any support for his existence. We need some support to exist physically, mentally. We cannot exist just by ourselves. But God exists by his own power. He does not depend on anyone's power for existence. So we live on borrowed energy. Even heat, cold, food, cloth, shelter, all this we need. These are not produced by us. They are coming from somewhere else. But God is the one who produces the universe from himself. Like spider is producing cobweb. So it does not take anything from anywhere. So therefore it is called Sarvashvaya. Support of everything. So this way we should know who is God and who is not God. Because in India there are many avatars all the time. Especially if you go to South India. There are many more avatars there. When I lived there are many avatars. So you have to see whether these avatars are depending on their own self or they are depending on someone else. And Swadrik means that you know by yourself. Not that we take knowledge from somewhere else. And then we become big. So his knowledge, his cognition is not dependent on anything else. We depend on our body. If something happens to my eye, I cannot see. So I need the eyes, then eyes become weak, then I need glasses to see. And the monkey takes away your glasses. And then you have to run behind the monkey. Please give my glasses. So that means we are not swadrik. Drik means to see, the seer. Swa means by himself. So we cannot even see by ourselves. We need some instruments to see. And depending on the limitation of the instrument, our vision becomes limited. If I am colorblind, then I cannot distinguish. If I am myopic, then I cannot see things which are too far away. So I am conditioned. So God is not conditioned like that. He is not dependent on anything to see, to know, to cognize. He can do it by himself. So that is Swadrik. So Ishwarasya pi asadharanan sarvashvayatvadim dharman vaktum punar etat shabdam upanyashyati eshaiti Atma Shakti Mayatvad Atman. And he has his own power. Again, our power is not our own. So we are very proud of our power. Some people are physically strong, but then they get old and they need help from others. Some people are beautiful. Always worried about wrinkles. So slowly the wrinkle comes. Walking. Then the beauty goes away. Some people have good memory. So with time everything is lost. But these things are all borrowed. They are given to us. Then we lose them. So we should know this and not become proud. God does not have such things. His characteristics, his knowledge, his power, Swabhavaki Jnana Balakriya. So his Jnana, his knowledge, his Bala, his strength, action, activity are Swabhavik, natural, inherent, not coming from outside. Even if you don't become old, if you don't get food for 2 days, then you lose strength. Your memory will also not work. Or you get diarrhea. So then your strength is gone. In 1 day, you can be finished in 1 day. So that shows that it is not mine. It's like a machine. If I have a nice car, powerful engine, and someone else has simple car, then don't become proud. That's only the car, not you. So similarly, if I have some qualities more than others in this body, don't become proud. It's just a machine. We have temporary. Some people can write poetry, they become very proud. And this is not their permanent ability. So, but he is Atma Shaktiman. God is naturally here. Therefore it says Atma Maya Gurahir Vishnu Atma Shakti. This is the difference. This is the distinguishing characteristic between the Jiva and the Ishvara. This is what makes him as different from us and superior to us. Not just different, but superior. So that's why there is a relationship of worshipable and worshipper. So if we pay respect, it is because there is a difference between him and us. Nahi nasyati priya kashid na priya swaparo piva ekah sarvadhiyam drashta kartrinam gunadoshayoho. So he further describes that there is no one who is dear to him, and there is no one whom he hates. Not really. He is neutral. And nobody nasva priyopi paropi. There is nobody who is his own, and nobody who is not his own. So he is not biased towards anybody. Therefore, in the material world, people blame God that why there is so much suffering. If God is compassionate, then why is He not doing anything? So the thing is that God is not taking sides from anybody. People are getting the result of their karma. So what can you do? If you don't want to suffer, then don't do actions which will bring suffering to you. He has given you intelligence, hands, senses, and He has given you knowledge. So if you make mistake, then what can you do? It's like there is a state government. State government has police, and the job of police is to catch criminals. One of the jobs. To maintain peace in the society. This is one of the primary functions of police. So if they see some criminal, somebody who is breaking the law, then they arrest that person. Then you cannot blame the state, because state is very cruel. Police is arresting me, and then you're taken to court and sent to prison. So this is not the fault of state government. This is my own fault. So similarly, state government remains neutral. So similarly, God is neutral. Of course, those who surrender to Him, those who take shelter of Him, then He takes their side. It's like if you, state government also, sometimes people approach the head of the state, then He may pardon, amnesty. But generally, it goes according to the law. So similarly, there is a law of karma, which is beyond all state laws. Even if you can escape the state, you cannot escape the law of karma. Because He is seeing everything. He says, Eka sarvadhyam drashta kartrinam gunadosha. That He is one, and He is the drashta, the seer. So just like these days they put hidden cameras, right? They're coming close to God. So you're driving and suddenly click, then you get a ticket in the mail, $100, and a photo of your car, and time, and the speed. So God, what He has done is that He has put the camera inside you. He doesn't have to put it everywhere. That's a big problem. So He has put the camera inside, and whatever you are thinking or doing, it's all getting photographed. So that is how He keeps the record. So that is called that assistant of Yamaraj. What is his name? Chitragupta. Chitragupta is described as an assistant of Yamaraj, and it is described that he keeps file of everybody's actions. So Chitragupta literally means a hidden camera. Gupta means hidden, and Chitra means photo. So hidden photo, one who is taking photo, hidden, that's hidden video camera. So that is in the Chitta. So you have a Chitta, and in Chitta there is a Chitragupta, taking a snap every second. And it has what they call terabyte now? What is it called?
Terabyte, yeah.
They have this big disk now.
Terabyte.
Terabyte. So they have even more bigger than terabyte. Unlimited capacity. It can store any amount. So everything is getting stored. Whatever you do. So everybody is born with this camera and we are not aware of it. So we have to become aware. So he is watching it. So he is just sitting. Also pronounced Ejasakaya Samanam Vriksham Parisasvajati. So it is described that on one tree there are two birds sitting. Tayoreko Atti Swadavakti Kittu. One of them is eating the fruit and onion. Anasnana Vichakasiti. Another one is sitting without eating. So the jiva is the one who is eating the fruits of happiness and distress, and God is sitting, he is just observing. So therefore he says, Eka sarvadhyam drashta. Sarvadhyadhyay means same, mind. He is watching the mind of everybody. So even sometimes there are thoughts coming in your mind and you forget, but God does not forget. Because He captures everything. Everything is captured. So Eka Sarvadhyam Drashta and Kartrinam Guna Dosha. And all the good and bad actions you perform, He is watching. So you may hide from people, you may hide from the police, you may hide from the state government. You cannot hide from Him. So sometimes people give this argument that why I am being punished something which I don't remember. And they say, well, in the past life you did this, now you are suffering because of that. So you say, well, I don't remember. So why I am being punished for that? You don't remember, but Paramatma remembers, Ishvara remembers. So if you don't remember, what can you do? He remembers. If he forgets, then he can escape. But he does not forget. So he has a big computer and he has everybody's file, karma account. So everybody has a file in this big computer, like governments are keeping now everybody's file. All your data is stored, everybody, nothing is private now. So much of your information is available. You keep track of everyone. So, but God is 100 steps beyond that. जीवस्य बंधु ज्ञाति अरि मध्यस्थालयः अज्ञान निबंध न कि ईश्वरस्य इत्याह नहि अस्ति. So earlier it was said that the living being, he has relations, sometimes friends, sometimes relatives, sometimes enemies, sometimes neutral, sometimes envious, sometimes parental relations. All these relations are made because of ignorance. All relations in the material world are based on ignorance. Every relation is a product of ignorance. Because if we understand who we are and who is the person with whom we are related, then we will know that in reality there is no relation. We may still continue, but ultimately we know that it is such. So, I am no one's, nobody is mine. Our only relationship is with God. That's the only relation. And that is the relationship which we do not know. And that is the only relation we need to know. When we do not know that, then we look for so many other relations. We are always looking for a relation. And that is because we are not aware of our real relation, which is with God. So all other relations, they keep on changing and they don't satisfy us. And even if they don't change, we keep on changing them. And we will continue this until we will come to realize our relation with God. Then only all this movement, this journey will come to an end. So he says God is not in ignorance, therefore he doesn't make these types of relation. This is my friend, this is my this, this is my that. Of course he does that in his own accord. But he is speaking in relationship to this world. God has his own abode in his own kingdom. Then he has his friend, his parents, his relatives, everyone. But those are eternal relations, they don't change. So here he doesn't make this type of relationship. He remains neutral, everybody is bound by their karma. He just observes. यत्तु भक्तो अतिप्रियः स्वस्य भक्तद्वेषी अप्रियः परः शत्रुश्चेति तच्च समोहं सर्वभूतेषु मम द्वेषो अस्ति न प्रियः ये भजन्ति च मां भक्त्या मयि ते तेषु चाप्यहम् इति. So he says that God says this, Krishna says this in Bhagavad Gita, samaham sarvabhuteshu, that I am equal to everybody. No me dvesha asti na priya. There is no one whom I dislike. There is nobody whom I like. But those who are my devotees, ye bhajanti mam bhaktya. He says then in favor. Maite tesu chapya. So that is different. That means if one decides to get free from karma and recognize his or her relationship with God, then God starts caring. Otherwise, why should he care? We are not caring for God, why should he care? There are so many people in this world, we don't care about them. We are neutral. Something good happens to them, we don't feel happy. Something bad happens to them, we don't feel sad. You watch TV, you watch news, some calamity happens, so many people die or they are suffering. You just watch it. It doesn't do anything. Or some people are having a party, you watch it, it doesn't make any difference to you because you are neutral. But if there is somebody in that who is related to you, then you will be influenced by the news, good or bad. Because that person has a relation, he or she also cares for you, so you care. So God is also like that. He is a person. So because we don't care for him, so then he says, okay, I remain neutral, but he is not neutral in the sense that he will stop giving you air to breathe or water to drink. No, he gives the basic things. You can breathe, you can have sunlight, you can have the nature. But he does not specifically favor if something happens to you, then he doesn't care. It's good or bad. That's what he leaves you. But he is not ignorant, he knows. However, if someone cares for him, means decides to know him, then he becomes attentive towards that person. So therefore it is said that if you walk one step towards God, you will walk 100 steps towards him. Otherwise he will be in school, undisturbed by anything. Nothing which disturbs him. So this is what is he saying in this verse? Santanaham dvashtahi puran sansaresu naradhama iti gitokter bhaktivatsalasya bhushnam eva bhushnam. And then he also says that those who are envious of devotees, he punishes them. So he says that this is not a defect. You cannot say that he is biased, but this is his ornament, this is his quality. Means if you love somebody, that person must reciprocate. If you love someone and that person does not reciprocate, then will you say, well, he is a very nice person? So in the same way, if you love God, then he reciprocates. Then he favors you. You cannot say, well, God is very biased. No, that is a good quality. He reciprocates. Incha jiva bhava ishvarastu eka eva nirdosha vitatya pratinam pradinam sarvadhyaya vichitra. So the living beings are many and God is only one. So he is one. Eko bahunam yavedadahati kaman. So he is one among many and he is fulfilling the desires. So gundosyor hita hityo kartrinam. So he sees whether we are favorable or not favorable, we are doing things which are harmful or not. So vichitra buddhiyas tasam drashta sakshi. So he remains as a witness. So witness means neutral. Witness does not favor anyone. He just sees and he speaks what he sees. He is not inclined to favor this person or that person. That is called sakshi. So he is the witness of sakshi. नादत्ते आत्मा हि गुणम न दोषम न क्रियाफलम उदासीन वदासीन परावरदृग ईश्वर. So he says that he does not accept any good or bad of anybody. जीवो ही मित्र मित्रियों गुण दोषो. So Jiva, he accepts the good and bad of people. If somebody is favoring him, then he becomes happy, appreciates. If somebody is troubling him, then he wants to take revenge. God does not do that. Someone is acting wrongly or not wrongly, he does not come in. So it is the jiva who becomes influenced. Ateva udasinvat sarvantaryamittvena asina. So udasina, asina. Asina means sitting. On the same root we have the word asana. So asina means he is sitting. And how is he sitting? Udasinvat. Like a neutral person. So word udasina is actually also coming from the same word as asana. It means up. And asina means sitting. So udasina means he sits up. Means beyond duality. That is the meaning of udasina. Not sitting at the same level. When you sit at the same level means you get influenced. So he sits above. So Udasina Vadasana. But he is not completely Udasana. Therefore he said Udasina Vat, like. Why is not complete neutral? Because if one surrenders to him, then he gives up that Udasina. So, because one who is completely neutral, that person will not change, it doesn't matter what you do. But God is not like that, although he remains neutral. But if one decides that I want to get out from the influence of karma and I want to follow the path of devotion, then he gives up that Udasina, that neutral mood. And he says that he will teach a man of so therefore he says Udasina Udasina Paravara Dhriga Ishvara. So Ishvara sees everything, good or bad. Kriyafalam Sukham Dukkham Cha Bhukta Ishvarastu Naiv. So it is the living entity who gets the outcome of his kriya, his actions, whether it is pleasure or pain, but not Ishvara. Ateva Udasinvat Sarvantaryamitpena Asina. Is situated in everyone's heart as the immanent being, Supreme Atma. Paravare Bhadra Bhadre Sakshitpena Pashyati. He sees what is good or bad action anyone is doing. Sa Udasina Eva iti Arimitradi Pratiyogi Udasinastu Naivatyat. So Udasina means that he is does not mean that he makes difference between friend and enemy. Ati Ishwar Maya Nibaddhanam Yesham Chitraketuadinam Mahad Anugraha Gulam Ishwar Prapattim Binam Shoka Mohadi Mayoyam Sansaro Dustare Eveti Kim Maya Mohavaktavyam. So the sense or the meaning of this topic is that people like Chitraketu, who are bound by the Maya of the Lord, they cannot get rid of their grief or delusion without surrendering to God, which happens only by the grace of a great devotee. And if one does not have that grace, then one cannot get out of this samsara, this cycle. One continues in the cycle of birth and death. So he says, what more do I need to say on this subject? I stop here. So this is what that Jiva spoke. He came into the dead body, he spoke this, and then he left. So the conclusion of his talk is that the relationship which we have in the material world, they are based on the basis of body, and body is temporary, therefore the relations are also temporary, and they persist as long as the body persists, and sometimes they change even in the same life also. So many relations change in one life, but definitely they don't go beyond the body. And this will continue unless one gets the grace of a devotee, Mahad Anugraha. So when one gets the grace of a saintly person, a devotee, then one's mind will change and one becomes God-oriented. Now we are only object-oriented, material object-oriented. All our orientation, our senses, our thoughts, our plans are only towards material objects beginning from our own body. We are worried either about our own physical body or things which are related to it. And no one thinks beyond that. So he says, unless one gets this grace, then it is not possible to get out of it. That is the conclusion. So I will stop here because from here now we will describe what happened. What was the reaction of this talk on Chittaketu and other people who understand Bhagavad. So what happened to them, that should happen to us also. That is desirable. So if there is any question.
I have two questions. The first question is about the grace. Does it mean to get the grace of a great devotee? Does that mean a personal relationship involved in it? Or like in Christianity they say because Jesus died on the cross for everybody, that we all getting grace if you join the church, which is like very impersonal in a way. So, what does it really mean getting the grace? Is it
That is that the devotee has to personally will it.
From a particular devotee whom he knows and whom he has a relationship?
Yeah, it's not like the rain falling from the sky. That all you have to do is just come out and let the rain drops on your head. It's not like that. It is that, just like here, Angira and Narada, they are specifically coming to bless Chitraketu. Not anybody and everybody. That is what his grace is. So Angira, I think he already said that I came and I could have given this to you when I came, but I realized that you were very much attached to having a son, therefore I wanted to remove your attachment. So he actually got the grace when Angira came, because Angira came with this intention. But now it is becoming actually manifest. So his grace was from that time on.
So when we read statements like in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that Mahaprabhu liberated the whole universe,
that is to say that he has the ability to liberate the universe, not that he liberated it. Because we know that nobody got liberated.
So it's always a specific. My second question is about the equanimity of Paramatma. And then when somebody surrenders, he gives up that equanimity, that equal vision.
Yeah, because then he actually comes under the control of Bhagavan.
That's what
Paramatma remains neutral. And when somebody wants to take shelter of God, then his Bhagavan feature takes over.
So what happens when Paramatma reveals himself in the heart of a devotee, in his Vishnu form or whatever, the form that Paramatma is described in? That is...
Now it depends whether you're talking about a yogi or you're talking about Bhakti. If he's a devotee, it's only Bhagavan who is revealing the Paramatma form. As Krishna appeared to Vasudeva and Devaki first in 400 form. It's a Paramatma form, and then he became 200.
So to
So
the
it is only
yogi,
Bhagavan who manifests that form, because person is accustomed to seeing that or believes that God is like that.
so any form is revealed or shown only when there is an actual surrender and not just a